Hey guys, bringing you straight to the cabin of our new project this month, our 2005 Mazda 3. You can see we have our check engine light on right now, so I did turn on the car to show you guys that little check engine light, but we are going to turn it off so it doesn't get super hot, and we're going to pop the hood because apparently that code relates to our EGR valve. So in today's video, we are going to be replacing our old EGR valve with our new EGR valve. And even though, yes, the homie did say replace this one about 200 miles ago, she is showing some very large soot. And also the gasket was failure. You can see the little dimples on there are kind of being pushed away. Don't know if that's too much concern. There is some little markings down here. And of course it's bent from taking it off, which I'll get to today's video. However, you can see with our new one, the gasket is a little bit more different, which could be a little alarming. They have this one kind of ducted off. Then this one right here, the little jacket's in there, so I don't think that's too much of a concern. If we do match up our lines pretty straight, it kind of has a little bit of a hole right there. I don't think that could be too alarming because there's no where that is pressed into it. There's no holes. Pretty much just air just comes in and out over here, and it does have coolant as well inside this area, which I'll show you guys in just a moment. As for the engine bay, I'm going to be playing over some clips real quick. I did go ahead and remove the whole entire throttle tube intake hose, and then after that I removed the whole entire box because I needed a lot more space to get into everything going around the area. I did also remove the fuel line, the air intake hose, some spark plug wires, and also some other wires around the area, such as our MAF sensor, throttle body sensor, and even our heater core sensor and some other sensors behind the area. So flashing back now into the real life world right over here, you guys can see it's a giant mess, right? So what I've done is I've taken a long 10 to go ahead and remove our first bolt, which is right down over here. And once I was able to get this bolt out, then I was able to move the EGR valve down just a little bit, and I took our Phillips right over there to kind of give me more space because this little shroud for the power is kind of in the way, so we took the top off. What I did for the second bolt to our EGR valve. Now the easiest way to do this is to take apart the whole entire heater core block right over there. It's just then we're going to be leaking coolant all over the place, as we already did. Just trying to see if we can remove the hose and if we can get some space. You guys can see, honestly, those little holes might not make much of a difference. We do have a little bit of silicone in between, which feels funny, but there's no holes on there at all. So for our second one, it was a lot more trickier than the first one. What I did was I took a mini 10 and this one right over here, and essentially what I did, I kind of just jangled it up and down right in between to try to fit in between the wall. And I also took the hose off just a little bit to give me just a small bit of clearance to snake that guy on. Afterwards I did thread it off with my hand the entire way. So it is a 7 out of 10 difficulty. The tools you'll be needing for sure are going to be a few different tools, in which I use the best. We do have a various different amount of 10 ratchet, 10 wrench, channel locks to remove some of the cables, such as this little guy right over here, which is going to be the bottom of the EGR valve that connects to that guy right there. I just find it easier to use the channel locks. It's more of a meat than using my needle nose plier. And you are going to need a mini 10 as well. That's going to be this guy right over here. So this mini 10 is going to be good for the back. You don't need to remove the heater core. I do recommend moving the heater core. It's a lot more easier. You get a lot more space, but that is a lot more work. We already did a lot of work removing all the hoses. You can see our fuel line is just sitting over here. We removed all these different brake boosting hoses. We moved a lot of different hoses all over the place. So now it's a Tetris of an event trying to put everything back together. We even have our air intake box in too, because it sits down in this one and this one. And yeah, I'm gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna set the camera to the side, guys, instead of filming everything, putting back together. Essentially what you want to do is exactly how you take it apart. We're gonna put our EGR valve down here, get our back one in first. and then get our front one in afterwards. I'm going to show you guys everything once it's all done, and once it's all complete, we'll start the car and see if we have a check engine light. Alright, so before I actually do get into the vehicle, kind of our last touches. There we go, nice and tight. Look at that JDM. So now into the engine bay area, you can see everything is kind of buttoned up. The main EGR valve is in there. You can see right there our lower bolt. Our lower bolt is in, and then the other bolt was in. Again, guys, this is really easy to do if you do remove the heater core. If you don't want to lose too much coolant, I do advise you jack it up from the left side of the vehicle. That way you can kind of slush the coolant off to the other side. We did leak very little to no coolant inside there, but that's basically how you do it. Again, it's going to be 2 different 10s, a lot of different hoses. This main one here, the main breather one down over there. Our fuel lines, we did go ahead and add our fuel kit, E85 kit in there. So that's going to give us that E85 Flex Pro. So just like that, guys, we have our check engine light off. The car's running good. Everything is good. So alright, guys, stay safe and stay chill.